good standbys.
The Golden Knights are the epitome of everything that the Army is. Teamwork and dedication and discipline and attention to detail.
Pressures and quantities all look good. Flaps.
I joined the Army straight out of high school. I'm from a small town of like 1,000 people in Pennsylvania. I have been on the team for 4 years. This is my first year as a jumper. I started off pulling some ground duties and stuff like that. It's the best of the best, so that's where I wanted to be.
Ready to taxi.
We have been practicing. We just got back from Homestead, Florida, probably 130, 140 jumps there, getting ready to come here. We work pretty hard to make sure we're getting everything right. First off, we throw our streamers, our wind direction indicators. That lets us know which way the winds are blowing at altitude and lets us calculate where we're going to get out of the aircraft to land on the target. Our minimum is 100 feet by 100 feet. That's what we can squeeze into. I have 475 jumps right now, and I'm the baby on the team. There are guys that have way more than me. Our big concern, the winds were a lot higher above the cloud deck. The first guy that jumped out radioed up and said, you know, it's a little bumpy under canopy. Might not be the best idea to let them go. So myself and Brandon, unfortunately, were unable to jump. Rode down the plane. We'll try again next time.
There's pinball, there's classic arcade, there's classic consoles, classic computers.
It's like a yearly tradition. I mean, it's one of our favorite shows.
There's a charm to it. There's so much heart and soul to the old games. The hardware at the time was limited, but within that limitation, they found creative and unique ways to make something super fun.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat, Daytona USA, Street Fighter, you know, those games were all the rage. That's what my friends and I were really into, and it's timeless. You're like, you could pass it on.
We like bringing our games to shows so people can play stuff they don't get to play all the time.
Hey, Alex, the time machine is ready.
We're really blessed that Louisville's an area that just celebrates retro gaming, and so we have collectors that bring lots of machines, we have fans that come out and just have a great time, because that's just what we're about. We're about connecting each other.
What boat are you on?
Gaming the way it was, gaming the way it's meant to be, together, close-knit, side by side.
Is lit.
Coming back to this event, you know, they have gotten to see the evolution of technology, you know, all the different games that there are. And they're like, wow, you know, this is something cool.
Fun for all, connecting each other, bringing everyone together to enjoy the golden age of gaming.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars.
Today is the day across the country that we honor and remember our veterans.
Through the perilous fight.
We're not just out there decorating wreaths.
O'er the ramparts we watch.
They're our heroes.
Were so gallantly streaming.
Freedom is not free.
And the rocket's red glare.
I have a hard time talking about it.
The bombs bursting in air.
We're here to remember them and remember what role they played.
My parents both served in World War II. My dad was in the Army, and my mom, who's on the other side, she was a nurse in World War II.
Gave proof through the night.
Out here in the cemetery is all the people who have preceded us. They served the country. They gave us the environment in which we live today. They protected our freedoms. They protected our rights, so we have them all today.
That our flag was still there.
There's 8,784 wreaths out here today, and we probably got them all laid out in about 20 minutes.
I'm so proud of the people in this community that come out to honor the people that many of them don't know anybody in here.
Oh, say does that.
And it's beautiful to look out there and see the wreaths on all the graves. Just beautiful.
That way.
Thousands and thousands of cars pass through Oldham County on I-71 every single day. And as work continues to widen parts of the interstate closer to Louisville, the vision is for that work to continue right here.
This is the largest number of drivers JCPS says have called out on any given day so far this school year.
Why do you think it was important to him to keep coming to the game?
Because he loved the university, and he loved the teams, and he loved the players. He loved basketball, he loved coaching, he loved the students, he loved the players, he loved the fans, he loved being here and just watching these teams progress.
It's a big political mistake for the Republican Party to alienate young voters.
We have the same goal: happy, healthy mom, happy, healthy baby.
This started as a 1-hour weekly revival behind me here at Asbury University. As you're about to see, it just keeps going and going.
The bill did pass out of committee, so it now heads to the House floor for a separate vote. Reporting from the state capitol with photojournalist Ian Cunningham, Raina Katko, WDRB News.
Lots of good barbecue, hamburgers, hot dogs.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Games, bingo. It's a lot of fun.
The families of the St. Jerome Catholic Church operate the picnic like clockwork, regardless of which political powers are expected to hit the fancy farm stage.
All right!
But it's always juicier when there's candidates from both sides.
Can get a little wild and crazy around that time.
Part of the crazy is the audience involvement. Republicans taking note of the lack of Democrats in attendance for the last 3 years right off the bat.
To Republicans out here, good to see you. Welcome back. To the Democrats out here, welcome to West Kentucky.
Governor Beshear was quick to rebuttal. While he might not have attended Fancy Farm while he's been in office, his administration showed up to help after the deadly Mayfield tornadoes destroyed the community.
We're rebuilding houses for families, supporting farmers and small businesses. And Father, we paid for the funeral of all 81 people we lost because we grieve together.
Meanwhile, his opponent, Republican Daniel Cameron, didn't hold back on jabs against the transgender community.
The governor has the audacity to lecture rural Kentuckians on right and wrong when he and Joe Biden can't even tell the difference between a man and a woman.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell took the audience back in time for his zingers.
I know a little something about beating Beshears.
McConnell beat Steve Beshear to hold his seat in the U.S. Senate in 1996.
Let me tell you, Andy makes his dad look like a Republican.
Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman didn't hesitate to give it right back.
Now, before you start in on their family, let me just say, I'd rather be Steve Beshear's son than Mitch McConnell's puppet.
Both parties hope voters will find Kentucky values in their candidate, in our old Kentucky home.
This is part of the process leading up to Derby Day. Not everyone gets to see, but you'd certainly notice if it didn't happen. Pops of color, different shapes and sizes. We're not talking fascinators, but the work that goes into these flowers is pretty fascinating.
And I like playing in the dirt. Even before I came here, I played in the dirt at home, so here I get paid to do it. So.
The Churchill Downs greenhouse puts in months of effort, growing around 20,000 flowers to help keep Churchill Downs in full bloom the first Saturday in May.
I think what is so amazing about Churchill Downs and the Derby is just how many people are putting a piece of themselves into it.
It's a team fewer than 10 people who care for these plants, and they lead the way, putting them in the ground in the weeks leading up to Derby.
I could not do this without the crew that I have.
Cindy Levitt has been working in the greenhouse 6 years, but she's been a Churchill employee 3 decades.
I used to work on the backside, out of track side.
Her love of flowers has led her here.
I mean, I've been a flower person all my life.
And this is her last Derby before she retires in just a few weeks.
And I've been around doing some of everything.
She will be big shoes to fill.
From hanging baskets filled with begonias taken from the greenhouse, loaded on the truck, and clipped into place around the property, to a reimagined paddock that won't be complete until Derby 150.
Next year, you're going to see a huge structure there and tons of flowers and grass and hopefully trees. So it's going to be totally different.
and geraniums that looked like this in January have now grown into red showstoppers, creating the iconic winter circle. What's left in the greenhouse at this point is mostly for replacement purposes, if something is damaged or there's an unexpected freeze. Each of these petals waiting their turn to be part of the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. By June, the greenhouse will mostly be empty with these replacement flowers gone. And it'll be time to start planting and preparing things like mums, kale, and cabbage for the upcoming fall meet. Reporting with photojournalist Ian Cunningham, Darby Bean, WDRB News.
Every Sunday inside Christ Temple Christian Life Center, the walls don't just talk, they sing.
Sometimes people, think church, we got to be stiff and stuffy. No, you don't. No, not here.
With arms stretched high.
Is that the best praise that you have for your God?
The power of prayer is undeniable. As people from all around the West End gather together, dressed in their Sunday best.
When we come into the house of the Lord, this is where Jesus is.
As the members here will tell you.
My title is just sister, but I do everything in the church.
This church is a second home.
Everyone here is either my auntie or my uncle.
Where everyone pitches in.
I'm an usher. I teach the babies. I've even danced before. I've sung in the choir. They probably get me because I ain't back in the choir.
It's not just church. If you want to be a designer, you can find a way to design here. If you want to be a dancer, you can dance here. If you want to sing, you can sing here.
Where colorful prayers offer support beyond the pews.
Even under this carpet here, we have prayers that when we renovated this building in 2010, we put those prayer requests.
Somebody may be going through the same thing you're going through, sitting right next to you, but because the two of you are side by side, man, y'all join together and then y'all start ministering.
I said, somebody shout awesome.
I see people literally their lives being transformed. It's just fire burning in people. It's different when you really got a fire and you found purpose in your life.
In some ways, the church has seen a lot of change over its 90 years, growing from a small house to 2 churches, to an old school where it formed permanent roots on South 45th in the Chickasaw neighborhood. Through it all, its foundation has remained solid, with only 4 pastors. It started with Bishop Griffith, before growing under Bishop Little and Bishop Ford Sr., and now the late pastor's son, Bishop Michael Ford Jr.
I know that had prepared me very well and certainly poured into me his wisdom, and he was such a tremendous example of great leadership.
Across all 4 leaders, the church grew from just a few to a congregation of roughly 500. But it also grew overseas, building over 30 churches and 2 schools in Kenya and Tanzania, while also increasing the amount of community programs offered right here in Louisville.
Whether it be depression or recession, this church has been a voice of empowerment. And this church is really working hard to make sure we have positive impact on these social determinants that are plaguing our neighborhoods.
Next month, Ford says the church has plans to break ground in this vacant area off 24th and Broadway, creating 42 affordable housing units, just steps from the church.
We've meant so much to this area, and we plan on playing an essential role from here until what we say Jesus comes.
While none of us can say for sure what the future holds, those here at the church say they have faith Christ Temple will always be there.
The church is made up of the members. It's not really the building. The church is the members.
Continuing to bring the community together, lifting each other and the Lord in prayer. With photojournalist Ian Cunningham, Grace Haba, WDRB News.